Okay, in this next clip, we are going to talk about how to create a variable speed change using the time remapping process in Premiere Pro. So open up sequence number 2 if it's not already open, called variable speed change. And I've got one clip in here, and it's just a runner going through the finish line. Now what I want to do is take this shot and have it go at 100% speed right up until he gets to the finish line and have him suddenly slow down until around here and then have it crank back up to normal speed. Now there are a couple different ways to make this happen in Premiere Pro, but we're going to make sure that we do it the fanciest way to make it look really nice. So the first thing I need to do actually is bring up a line here that represents speed right here in my timeline. This is going to be what I think is the easiest way to do it. Now there's no line there, or sometimes you might see a line and it might represent opacity if you hover over it. The way you can pick which parameter the line on the clip shows is by going to the little FX button here and right-clicking. And suddenly we see our fixed effects and any other effects you may have applied to the clip. And you can pick exactly what parameter you are displaying and able to edit in the timeline. So, again, normally the default is opacity. If you're not seeing anything, that is a possibility as well. Generally, it's going to be opacity. But I'm going to go to time remapping and select speed. Now I've got this line here. If I hover over the line, it tells me that it is displaying time remapping and the speed, which is currently 100%. And I could just drag the line up and down and it will apply an absolute speed change to the entire clip. But that's not what I want to do. I want to break it down into these kind of speed ranges or speed segments. So we're going to do this with keyframing. I'm going to move my playhead to right when I want the clip to kind of slow down. I'm going to pick right around here. You can kind of pick whatever frame you think would work best. And I need to add a keyframe. I can do this one of two ways. I can either use my pen tool and click, or if you want to remember a keyboard shortcut, I can command click with my selection tool, so I don't even have to activate the pen tool. And this adds a speed keyframe, which we'll come back to in a couple minutes. So I move forward just a little bit further and say, okay, this is when I want to kind of speed back up again. So it's not very much time, but that's the whole point. We're going to slow down this middle chunk quite a bit. And I am going to command click or control click if you're on Windows. And I'm done with my keyframing. But obviously nothing's changed about the clip yet. So now let me hover my selection tool in between these two keyframes right on the speed line. And I'm going to click and start dragging down. And we see this percentage gauge kind of drop down. I'm going to get down to about 20%. That's what I want. And I'm going to let go. And suddenly it looks like the clip has gotten a little bit longer. Let me hit my backslash key to fit to window here. And let's play the clips. Let's see what it looks like. Just as he gets to the finish line, he slows down, and a moment later, whoop, gets back up to 100%. Now, we've essentially accomplished the goal. However, if I had one complaint, it's that the speed change is so sudden. It's just at one frame he's at 100%, and the next frame he's at 20%. Looks a little choppy, a little rough. So can we smooth this out? Yes, we can add a speed ramp. And it's really quite easy how we make that happen. We just hover right over our time, our speed keyframe here. And I'm going to click and drag left or right. No matter which direction you drag, you'll see that it is creating a ramp. That is, I'm going to drag to the left here, and it creates a little ramp going from 100% speed down to that 20% speed. I'll do the exact same thing here. I'm going to drag a little bit to the right, create a little bit of a ramp as well. Now, sometimes, depending on the scenario and the exact action, it's a little hard to appreciate. It might be a little quick, but this should look a little bit smoother when I play it back now. There we go. Yeah, you definitely saw him kind of slow down a bit. Now, if it screwed up the timing and you wanted the ramp to happen a little bit earlier or a little bit later, you can hover right over the middle of the ramp and drag the whole thing a little bit to the left. And then you say, well, maybe that's him slowing down a little bit too early. You might go a little bit later and say, okay, what about this one? Oop, that was obviously too late. So you can slide it around and find the exact best timing for the ramp. If you want to get a little bit fancier, you can even click in the ramp area and get little Bezier handles in order to add a curve, a very slight curve to the ramp. It's pretty hard and subtle to notice, to be honest with you. But again, click in between the ramp, grab the little Bezier handles here to add a curvature to your line if you want. So that is how you can use time remapping to create a variable speed change in Premiere.